Hello Christine Penelope, I am an artificial intelligence voice. Today, I will advise you on the results of the analysis report of the Research and Analysis Center of Fingerprint Biometrics and Multi-Intelligence, Interhouse Research. Please open your analytics report. Dear Christine, the fingerprint biometrics researched by the Interhouse Research Center is completely based on statistical science. By analyzing the density of ridges on each fingerprint, it will give indicators to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of each person. We can combine those indicators to find out the talents and abilities of each person and career orientation. From the statistics show that, the higher the density of ridges in any finger, the more priority that finger will have. We accept that the fingerprints on each finger are like a map showing the distinct functions of the brain, which includes, the thumb on the left hand represents leadership, direction, with the ability to interact and extrovert. The index finger on the left hand reflects the function of visualization, reimagining the past and formulating ideas. The middle finger on the left hand represents the function of operating the joints in the body, the ability to move nimble and flexible. The ring finger on the left hand represents the function of recognizing sounds, noises, melodies and rhythms. The little finger on the left hand represents the perception of beauty, space, colors and image. On the right hand, we have the right thumb, which is the function of organization and management, the ability to organize and discipline. The index finger on the right hand represents the function of logic, rationality, right or wrong judgment. The middle finger on the right hand represents the function of controlling the joints on the fingers, on the toes, or small areas of the face such as the eyebrows, nose, or roof of the mouth. The ring finger on the right hand is a function of language, with the ability to speak fluently, control speech, and low-pitched tones. Finally, the little finger on the right hand represents the function of observing, reading, remembering images and numbers, and estimating distances. Every day, we always have to use a combination of functions like this to do specific jobs. That requires our brain to always work on coordination between functions together to do that job. Now, please open page number 2. Analyze the pattern of fingerprint on your 10 fingers, showing that your 5 of 10 fingers is the whorl pattern, as the spiral pattern. The first letter symbol is W in essence. This is a fingerprint pattern that appears 2 deltas. That is, there are 2 parts of capacity, one is innate and the other one is potential that will be used when you encounter an environment subject to competitive pressure. Your 3 of 10 fingers is the loop pattern, shaped look like a water, denoted UL or RL. According to the science of fingerprint biometrics, this pattern actually has only 1 delta. That is, it only has innate capacity and has no potential capacity to support when you encounter an environment subject to competitive pressure. Your 2 of 10 fingers is the arch pattern, shaped like a mountain, denoted by the first letter A. This is a very special pattern because it has a simple structure with a sparse density, creating a low index. This allows the owner to exert capacity at a very high level through repetitive operation. We continue with page number 7, Evaluation of Total Competency Indicators. Looking at the table of indicators, your TFRC is an indicator of the overall innate capacity, as the upper part of the iceberg. You have a score of 145.57, it is rated at good for women. This indicator shows abundant capacity and belong to the golden zone, male 150 to 190, female 130 to 170. With this level of capacity, your ability to learn and absorb knowledge, as well as use your forte abilities will be very good and easy to control. Your capacities will be clearly shown. Your TAFRC is an indicator of overall maximum capacities, including innate and potential measured from all 10 of your fingers. You have a score of 202.97. It is rated at very good. And you also have potential capacities as assessed at an infinite level, no limit, because you have arch pattern. You will use all of this capacities when operating in a competitive environment and professionally. The difference score between your TAFRC and TFRC is 57.39. It is rated at quite good. This indicator is the potential capacity you will use more when operating in a competitive environment. This differential also reflects the level of your brain's energy expenditure as moderate. That is, The nutrients that you use for your brain will need quite a lot of carbohydrates. Average is about 45 grams to 60 grams carb per meal. Nutrition that we absorb will be used as follows. 60% of sugar derived from starch will be used for the brain, and the remaining 40% used for the body to maintain the activity of the cells in body. So our brains need a lot of energy to function properly. Next, the TRI indicator. This is your current overall performance indicator. Currently score is 152.17. Be rate at good. Equivalent to 104.5% overall innate capacity. Overuse of your innate abilities is due to possessing the arch pattern. You are currently located in the golden zone capability. Please maintain this capacity. Now, look down. Evaluate the ATD angle and sensitivity level. Did you know that, at the base of each finger, there is usually a triangle or junction created by the ridges on the hand? The scientific term calls them deltas. And at the bottom near the wrist also appears such a delta. ATD is the angle created on the palm by connecting three deltas points from the base of the index finger, straight down to the delta at the wrist and then straight up to the delta point at the base of the little finger. We will have to take the ATD angle in both the left and right hands. After measuring the angle, we take the average of both hands. Analyzing the ATD angle on both hands will help us accurately assess your sensitivity or reaction speed. If it is said that fingerprint density represents capacity patterns, then the sensitivity from the ATD angle will help evaluate the use of those capabilities. And the average of ATD angle on your hands is currently 37.5 degrees, and be rated very sharp, as a general standard. The ATD angle greater than 40 degrees reflects normal speed of thinking, and ATD less than 40 degrees will reflect very sharp thinking. You are having a very sharp mindset with the ability to turn thoughts into action quickly, react quickly and withstand pressure. Maintaining this sharpness is great. Unless your current overall capacity index, TRI, is above the golden zone, it is necessary to adjust the ATD angle. Note that the ATD angle on your palms is completely changeable, and the ATD angle governs the current capacity, TRI. Therefore, you can completely adjust the current capacity by reducing or increasing the ATD angle measurement. Statistically, the best ATD angle for you should be 35 degrees on the left hand, and 35 degrees on the right. When sharper thinking will help you better capacity utilization. Next, page 8. Functional analysis of the two hemispheres of the brain. In 1981, Professor Roger Wolcott Sperry and his colleagues won the Nobel Prize in Biomedicine for their research on the functioning of the two hemispheres of the brain and the whole brain theory. According to that study, the brain has a cross-control mechanism for the body. That is, the left hemisphere will govern the function of the right half of the body, and the right hemisphere will govern the function of the left half of the body. That is why we will take the fingerprints of 5 fingers on the left hand to estimate the ratio for the right hemisphere, and the 5 fingers on the right hand to estimate the ratio of the left hemisphere. Accordingly, the function of the left hemisphere is the ability to use logic, demand details, reality, vocabulary and language, present and past, math and science, and confirm information. Meanwhile, the function of the right hemisphere of the brain is to use emotions, which requires the whole picture, the ability to imagine, image, present and future, philosophy and religion, and beliefs. In a word, the left hemisphere of the brain is the ability related to performing tasks and actions, that is, related to skills. And the right hemisphere is the ability for ideation and direction, that is, related to plan. In congenital condition, your two hemispheres reach an equilibrium with a ratio of 2.75%. Equilibrium limit for the two hemispheres of the brain is less than or equal to 4%. Note: the congenital equilibrium ratio of the two hemispheres is considered the original index for reference. This ratio may change when switching to the current state that you are using. In the current condition, your left hemisphere has a ratio of 4.05%. You have the ability to think quickly, clearly and flexibly. High self-awareness and quick error correction. You prefer to act rather than to think and come up with ideas. Note: the superiority of the left hemisphere, within the limits allowed, is less than or equal to 9%, can help you become a specialist about skills. Your left brain hemisphere performance is effective at 92.07%. And your right brain hemisphere performance is effective at 88.80%. That's both of your brain hemispheres are working very well. Please maintain this level of performance used to ensure good performance of the tasks, as well as the ability to form and develop ideas. Page number 9. Evaluation of reflex capacity through the distribution of 5 lobes of the brain. According to modern biomedical research, our brain is divided into 4 lobes: frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe and occipital lobe. However, we study about human behavioral capacity based on fingerprint biometrics, because we have 5 pairs of fingers, corresponding to 5 lobes of the brain. In particular, the frontal lobe in biomedical research will be divided into the prefrontal lobe and the frontal lobe in the study of human capacity. Thus, 2 thumbs will represent the percentage of the prefrontal lobe. The 2 index fingers will calculate the percentage of the frontal lobe. The 2 middle fingers will represent the parietal lobe. The 2 ring fingers will represent the temporal lobe. And the 2 little fingers reflect the percentage of the occipital lobe, with the order of arrangement of the lobes as follows. Your prefrontal lobe ranked number 1 with 24.20%. Show your reflexes about predicting situations, and your decision-making ranked number 1. You are sensitive in predicting situations as well as the ability to make decisions. Your frontal lobe ranked number 2 with 20.65%. Show your reflexes about thinking and imagination ranked number 2. You are quite sharp in logical thinking and imagination. Your parietal lobe ranked number 5 with 17.20%. Show your reflexes about movement and tactile nerve ranked number 5. Your motor reflex tends to be slow. Your temporal lobe ranked number 3 with 19.99%. Show your reflexes about hearing and language ranked number 3. Your listening and language reflexes are quite slow. And your occipital lobe ranked number 4 with 17.93%. Show your reflexes about observation and feeling of space ranked number 4. Your observation reflex is quite slow. Not long ago, criminal psychologists had a new study related to people's cognitive abilities about ethical behavior, conscience and responsibility. They found that cognitive ability was related to the predominance of frontal lobes in biomedicine. That is equivalent to the sum of the percentages of the prefrontal lobe plus the frontal lobe in fingerprint biometrics. The total percentage of your prefrontal lobe and frontal lobe is 44.86%. This percentage is rated as high. Show a good sense of responsibility towards those around them. Dare to suffer about themselves and often help others. Like to take care of the world. It can be said that you are always a person with a sense of responsibility, conscience and morality with everyone around. However, it will also be a disadvantage because many times you tend to like to help others but are willing to suffer about yourself. The bottom of page 9 reflects your concentration ability. These indicators show how much concentration of each function in collecting and processing information in each part of your brain reaches the maximum level. The minimum concentration indicator will show the dispersion of information when using all 10 brain functions at the same time. Your minimum concentration percentage is 50.29%. This concentration is good. This shows that your ability to receive information is good if in the situation of using all 10 abilities at the same time. For example, when you are driving, you have to move, imagine and observe. You are also on the phone. That's mean you have to listen and think. And talking to the person sitting next to you, that is. You have to interact. Listen and talk, at the same time. It will not dispersed. Next, pages 11 and 12. Analysis of basic competencies. These 2 pages will analyze in detail 10 of your basic and individual competencies. Mainly reflects the level of competency that you are currently using, shown in column RI, compared to the level of innate, shown in column BI. Also to know where your abilities are given the strongest priority. In addition, there is column AI, which stands for Application Indicator. This indicator represents the ability to apply knowledge in practice, reflecting the transformation of input knowledge such as the ability to learn quickly, remember long, and the ability to store information in the subconscious mind as a file. Next is CAP, which is the absolute potential coefficient, which reflects the potential level, a form of latent capacity for fingerprints of the whorl pattern, with 2 deltas. A high CAP represents abundant potential. The CAP coefficient of the whorl pattern is larger than 1 to 2. For the loop pattern such as UL or RL, the CAP coefficient is only 1. The arch pattern, also called mountain pattern, has a very special cap coefficient, with values run from 1 to unlimit, representing infinite potential and difficult to determine. As follows. In the innate indicator in BI column, your leadership and interaction functions, L1, rank second priority with a score of 18.76, which are rated as excellent. The indicator of applying learned knowledge to practice, AI, of this functional finger is 27.55, rated as good. Looking at the real indicator in RI column, your leadership and interaction functions are currently at a score of 16.81, rated as good and ranked second priority. So you've used up most of your innate ability. The coefficient of absolute potential, CAP, of this function is 1.49. You have the potential to provide support when faced with a stressful environment because you have a WD-type fingerprint on this finger. Your imaginary function, L2, in column BI ranks 9th priority with a score of 6.61, which is rated as min. The indicator of applying learned knowledge to practice, AI, of this functional finger is 12.52, rated as average. Looking at the real indicator in RI column, your imaginary function is currently at a score of 15.48, rated as good and ranked 5th priority. It shows that you are using beyond your original natural ability. The coefficient of absolute potential, CAP, of this function is 1 infinity. Your potential is limitless because you have a S-type fingerprint on this finger. Your body activity function, L3, in column BI ranks 6th priority with a score of 15.41, which is rated as good. The indicator of applying learned knowledge to practice, AI, of this functional finger is 16.95, rated as quite good. Looking at the real indicator in RI column, your body activity function is currently at a score of 13.81, rated as good and ranked 8th priority. So you've used up most of your innate ability. The coefficient of absolute potential, CAP, of this function is 1. You don't have the potential to provide support in a stressful environment because you have a UL-type fingerprint on this finger. Your auditory function, L4, in column BI ranks 4th priority with a score of 17.00, which is rated as excellent. The indicator of applying learned knowledge to practice, AI, of this functional finger is 24.89, rated as good. Looking at the real indicator in RI column, your auditory function is currently at a score of 15.23, rated as good and ranked 6th priority. So you've used up most of your innate ability. The coefficient of absolute potential, CAP, of this function is 1.47. You have the potential to provide support when faced with a stressful environment because you have a WS-type fingerprint on this finger. Your visual function, L5, in column BI ranks 8th priority with a score of 12.98. Which is rated as good. The indicator of applying learned knowledge to practice, AI, of this functional finger is 15.58, rated as average. Looking at the real indicator in RI column, your visual function is currently at a score of 11.63, rated as quite good and ranked 10th priority. So you've used up most of your innate ability. The coefficient of absolute potential, CAP, of this function is 1. You don't have the potential to provide support in a stressful environment because you have a UL-type fingerprint on this finger. Your organization and management functions, R1, in column BI rank 1st priority with a score of 21.54, which are rated as excellent. The indicator of applying learned knowledge to practice, AI, of this functional finger is 33.40, rated as excellent. Looking at the real indicator in RI column, your organization and management functions are currently at a score of 20.02, rated as excellent and ranked 1st priority. So you've used up most of your innate ability. The coefficient of absolute potential, CAP, of this function is 1.75. You have the potential to provide support when faced with a stressful environment because you have a WC-type fingerprint on this finger. Your logical and analytical functions, R2, in column BI rank 3rd priority with a score of 17.15, which are rated as excellent. The indicator of applying learned knowledge to practice, AI, of this functional finger is 26.39, rated as good. Looking at the real indicator in our I column, your logical and analytical functions are currently at a score of 15.94, rated as good and ranked third priority. So you've used up most of your innate ability. The coefficient of absolute potential, CAP, of this function is 1.71. You have the potential to provide support when faced with a stressful environment because you have a WS-type fingerprint on this finger. Your meticulous activity function, R3, in column BI ranks 7th priority with a score of 13.30, which is rated as good. The indicator of applying learned knowledge to practice, AI, of this functional finger is 14.63, rated as average. Looking at the real indicator in our I column, your meticulous activity function is currently at a score of 12.36, rated as quite good and ranked 9th priority. So you've used up most of your innate ability. The coefficient of absolute potential, CAP, of this function is 1. You don't have the potential to provide support in a stressful environment because you have a UL-type fingerprint on this finger. Your linguistic function, R4, in column BI ranks 5th priority with a score of 16.34, which is rated as good. The indicator of applying learned knowledge to practice, AI, of this functional finger is 25.10, rated as good. Looking at the real indicator in our I column, your linguistic function is currently at a score of 15.18, rated as good and ranked 7th priority. So you've used up most of your innate ability. The coefficient of absolute potential, CAP, of this function is 1.70. You have the potential to provide support when faced with a stressful environment because you have a WE-type fingerprint on this finger. Your observe and read functions, R5, in column BI rank 10th priority with a score of 6.43, which are rated as min. The indicator of applying learned knowledge to practice, AI, of this functional finger is 12.37, rated as average. Looking at the real indicator in our I column, your observe and read functions are currently at a score of 15.65, rated as good and ranked 4th priority. It shows that you are using beyond your original natural ability. The coefficient of absolute potential, CAP, of this function is 1 infinity. Your potential is limitless because you have a O-type fingerprint on this finger. Note: these 2 pages are for reference only. These individual competencies have little or no decisive value in terms of forte talent or career direction. If in your special column is marked with an asterisk, or write an X, please contact a consultant to discuss and get answers for this special case. Please open page number 13 and 14. Evaluate the quality of the indicators of the type of thinking. When judge a smart person, we often use IQ and EQ to judge. In recent years, scientists have realized that, to judge an intelligent person, it seems that these 2 indicators cannot reflect all. Sometimes these 2 indicators are easily confused with each other. With statistical methods and algorithms based on ridge density of 10 fingers, combined with the use of ATD angle, Interhouse research has calculated almost completely accurate numbers in evaluating human intelligence indicators. In addition, not only IQ and EQ, we have calculated 8 more indicators to assess the real intellectual ability of each person in many fields. These indicators are quantitative, so they can be measured, and can be compared between people on a standard scale to determine whether you are smarter or less intelligent than others. Currently, your ATD angle is 37.5 degrees, that's mean very sharp, so your personal quantitative indicators, page 13, will be evaluated as follows. Your EQ, emotional quotient, score is 133.46, showing that your sensitivity of the emotion is at the optimum level. That means you are sensitive to other people's situations and attitudes, and are easily provoked by others. The maximum EQ score you can achieve will be 146.09. You tend to increase your sensitivity when under pressure. Your IQ, intelligence quotient, score is 131.66, showing the sharpness in your thinking. You are very intelligent. The maximum IQ score you can achieve will be 144.12. You tend to increase flexibility and become smarter when under pressure. Looking at the correlation graph between your EQ and IQ, It's show that the EQ greater than IQ about 0.67%. The equilibrium limit is less than or equal to 4%. You tend to strike a balance between emotions and mind. Your AQ, adversity quotient, score is 113.90, showing a hard work and facing difficulties. You are classified as a bit lazy. It means that you are inert and feeling sluggish, quickly discouraged when faced with adversity. Therefore, you have difficulty finding a way out. The maximum AQ score you can achieve will be 124.69. You tend to be more lazy, get inert and feel very sluggish when faced with adversity. The correlation chart between your IQ and AQ shows that the IQ greater than AQ about 7.22%. The equilibrium limit is less than or equal to 4%. You tend to rely on intelligence rather than hard work. That means you tend to study well but the exams are bad. You are lazy in reviewing knowledge because you think you have learned well before. So you often run into risks when taking exams. Your CQ, creativity quotient, score is 116.35, showing that your creativity is at a good level. That means you have a bit more creativity than the old archetype. The maximum CQ score you can achieve will be 127.37. You tend to lose your creativity when you fall under pressure. The correlation chart between your AQ and CQ shows that the CQ greater than AQ about 1.06%. The equilibrium limit is less than or equal to 4%. You tend to strike a balance between hard work and creativity. Your PQ, passion quotient, score is 135.47, showing that your passion is at a good level. That is, you have passion and interest in what you have chosen. You are always passionate to complete it. The maximum PQ score you can achieve will be 148.30. You tend to increase excitement when there is competition. Your BQ, biological quotient, score is 145.51, showing that your biological health status is very good. That means you have very good health and physical condition, can move dynamically, flexibly, and your immune system is very good. More than that, you can emit a bioenergy field that positively affects those around you. The maximum BQ score you can achieve will be 159.43. At this level, you have no change in your biological health status compared to your current level. The quantitative indicators on social you are rated as follows. Your SQ, social quotient, score is 166.78, showing that your ability to understand social knowledge is very extensive. You not only receive a lot of information and knowledge about society, moreover, you are also capable of independent research and can come up with new ideas, new discoveries. This is called the genius tendency. Get into the habit of reading a lot from now on. The maximum SQ score you can achieve will be 182.73. At this level, you will not have much change in understanding social knowledge. Your PSQ, psychological quotient, score is 185.40. Showing your psychological capacity is at a very high optimal level. This indicator shows that you are a person with a very strong psychological status. You are very psychopathic with others and can soothe or provoke others psychologically. The maximum PSQ score you can achieve will be 203.13. At this level, you will still be in the same status of mind, and there will not be much change in psychological capacity. Your MQ, management quotient, score is 191.64, showing your ability to manage people, manage affairs, or influence others is at a very high optimal level. The maximum MQ score you can achieve will be 209.97. Your TQ, trust quotient, score is 184.37, showing the trust that others have for you is at a very high optimal level. You have extremely high credibility. Everyone trusts you. The maximum TQ score you can achieve will be 202.00. Note: the higher the PSQ, MQ, and TQ indicators are far from the optimal index threshold, greater than 130, the more you can influence the more people you can influence. You should also note that the value of the 10Q indicators mentioned above has a certain increase or decrease due to the absorption of knowledge and experience during the operation. Finally, your DQ, determination quotient, score is 159.51. This is a very high level of determination. you will be very consistent to achieve the goal. It's great. This very high level of determination is very beneficial when you are determined to do something because you will get it done. Even if you start your business from zero, you will not hesitate and will surely succeed. Especially, this DQ indicator will follow you throughout your life and will not change. We continue to turn to the page 17 to 20, Analysis of Intelligent Forms. In 1983, Professor Howard Gardner at Harvard University said that in each of us there are many different types of intelligence, and he divided into 8 types of intelligence. Accordingly, each person will have the opportunity to own at least one of this 8 types intelligence. As before, we always think that a person must be good at natural sciences to be called intelligent. However, in Howard Gardner's view, the natural sciences belong to logical intelligence, and this form of intelligence is not unique. You may have logical intelligence, but you may not have bodily kinesthetic intelligence like athletes, or spatial intelligence like artists. Therefore, each of us will have our own strengths. Like Einstein's point that if there was a tree climbing contest between animals, it would be unfair to ask a fish to climb a tree. We have 2 mechanisms for the 8 intelligent forms, that is the innate mechanism at the page 17 by innate instinct, and the maximum adjusted mechanism at the page 20 that includes latent capacities. That is to say, you will have some form of intelligence adjusted to increase in a competitive environment. It is that environment that will activate your hidden abilities, such as taking private tutoring, studying in specialist classes, or competing for awards. Now, please open both page 17 and page 20 at the same time for easy comparison. In Table 8 Types of Innate Intelligence, your interpersonal, social interactions, intelligence ranks number 4 with a score of 8.39. The score of passion indicator of this type is 140.6, showing your ability to interact and communicate is at a good level and you are interested. Turn to Table 8 Types of Maximum Adjustable Intelligence. Your interpersonal intelligence ranks number 4 with a score of 12.87. Its increase 4.48. And the passion indicator score is 159.2. Its increase 18.6. That is, your interpersonal intelligence will increase well and you will enjoy interacting with people, with crowds, and working in teams. Your logical intelligence ranks number 2 with a score of 8.69. The score of passion indicator of this type is 145.7, showing your ability to be rational and logical is at a good level and you are interested. Turn to Table 8 Types of Maximum Adjustable Intelligence. Your logical intelligence ranks number 1 with a score of 14.91. Its increase 6.21. And the passion indicator score is 184.4. Its increase 38.7. It proves that your logical intelligence will increase very well, and you will be more interested in taking more calculus, specializing in natural science classes, or participate in competition for logic subjects. Your bodily kinesthetic intelligence ranks number 7 with a score of 7.28. The score of passion indicator of this type is 122.0, showing your bodily kinesthetic ability is at a quite good level and you are interested. Turn to Table 8 Types of Maximum Adjustable Intelligence. Your bodily kinesthetic intelligence ranks number 8 with a score of 7.28. It's not change in score. And the passion indicator score is 90.05. Its decrease 31.9. As such, your bodily kinesthetic intelligence won't get better. You will even lose interest when forced to practice continuously or compete in sports. Your linguistic intelligence ranks number 3 with a score of 8.49. The score of passion indicator of this type is 142.3, showing your language and reasoning abilities are at a good level and you are interested. Turn to Table 8 Types of Maximum Adjustable Intelligence. Your linguistic intelligence ranks number 3 with a score of 14.52. Its increase 6.03. And the passion indicator score is 179.6. Its increase 37.3. Conclusion. Your linguistic intelligence will increase very well, and you will be more interested in participating in debates, or take classes specializing in literature or foreign languages. Your naturalistic intelligence ranks number 6 with a score of 7.58. The score of passion indicator of this type is 127.1, showing your ability to understand nature and survive in nature is at a quite good level and you are interested. Turn to Table 8 Types of Maximum Adjustable Intelligence. Your naturalistic intelligence ranks number 6 with a score of 9.99. Its increase 2.40. And the passion indicator score is 123.6. Its decrease 3.54. At this maximum adjustment panel shows that your naturalistic intelligence will get better, but you will even lose interest when you are forced to learn about nature and find a way to survive in nature. Your visual and spatial intelligence ranks number 8 with a score of 7.14. The score of passion indicator of this type is 119.7, showing your ability to understand images, colors and spaces is at a quite good level, but you will easily change your preferences. Turn to Table 8 Types of Maximum Adjustable Intelligence. Your visual and spatial intelligence ranks number 7 with a score of 9.08. Its increase 1.93. And the passion indicator score is 112.3. Its decrease 7.37. That is, your visual spatial intelligence will get better, but you will lose interest in participating in a competitive environment for this type of intelligence. Your musical intelligence ranks number 5 with a score of 8.04. The score of passion indicator of this type is 134.8, showing your understanding of music and melodies is at a good level and you are interested. Turn to Table 8 Types of Maximum Adjustable Intelligence. Your musical intelligence ranks number 5 with a score of 11.56. Its increase 3.51. And the passion indicator score is 142.9. Its increase 8.15. Your musical intelligence will increase quite well, and you will be more interested in entering a professional environment, or having competitive pressures such as a talent show. Your inner intelligence ranks number 1 with a score of 9.03. The score of passion indicator of this type is 151.3, showing your independence, self-understanding and self-discipline are at a very good level and you are very interested. Turn to Table 8 Types of Maximum Adjustable Intelligence. Your inner intelligence ranks number 2 with a score of 14.81. Its increase 5.78. And the passion indicator score is 183.2. Its increase 31.8. That means your inner intelligence will increase along with your tendency to prefer to be alone. However, you are easy to fall into a status of stress, even depression due to tormenting yourself after each unsatisfactory work. Next. Page number 22. Analysis and evaluation of the implication mechanism. The term, insinuation, is used in this analysis report like impressing implicitly. Insinuation is an indirect way that you use towards someone when you expect that person to do specific things at your suggestion instead of having to give them direct orders. Insinuation is the process of directly or indirectly influencing the psychology of another person to control that person to fulfill certain requirements. Insinuation can be made by words, sound, or image, even by touching the body of the insinuated person. You may be insinuated by others, or you can insinuate others. And you can also insinuate yourself. Include. Insinuation by words is the ability to use words, whether oral or written, with a rhythm that is sometimes fast or slow, sometimes decisive, sometimes even, with words that are easy to understand. The person being insinuated can hear and decipher the commands of the operator immediately. The words given often make it easy for the person being insinuated to imagine and visualize the events and circumstances that the person who wants to insinuate describes. Insinuation by sound is a special ability of a person. Those who have the ability to insinuate by sound, even in their voices, there are sound frequencies that are low, sometimes high-pitched, sometimes hoarse. The sound frequencies that the person emits make the person insinuated feel an urge. The ability to insinuate by sound supports the ability to insinuate by language a lot in the insinuation mechanism. Obsession. This is the ability to stimulate the imagination, to impress, to strike the mind of the person who is insinuated by images, letters, colors, etc. The ways to create obsessions are usually influence on the observability of the person being insinuated. It can be a number, a geometry, a picture, or physical movements. Insinuation by touch. These are neurostimulating effects by body contact such as head rubs, shoulder pats, nudges, handshakes, hugs, etc. to create better commanding effect. You are insinuated by words and sound at a strong level. That means shocking sounds like yelling, Loud, heavy sounds like urging, strong, decisive words will easily impress you. And you easily absorb threatening words about a bad outcome to come. You are obsessed, insinuated by images, at an unaffected level. That means beautiful, flashy or ugly, dirty images will only have a temporary effect on you, not a lasting effect. Your brain isn't nearly as impressed with those images. You are insinuated by touching at an unaffected level. That is, stimulations through physical contact, tactile nervous system, such as head rub, stroke, hug, or shoulder patting. Handshaking have no effect, even cause discomfort for you. You insinuate yourself at a strong level. That means you will always be afraid and think about failures or bad consequences that will happen if you don't get the job done. This will make you always worry and find a way to solve the job perfectly. You insinuate by words and rhythm to others at a strong level. That is, you have the ability to insinuate others with words and rhythms that are strong, decisive, or the threat of bad consequences if the person being insinuated does not perform the task as your request. You make obsession towards others at a strong level. That is, you have the ability to obsess others with your own style and appearance. The impression that others think of you are strong, vivacious, flexible and full of life. You insinuate by touching others at an unaffected level. That means you do not have the ability to make an impact about neurostimulation others through physical contact such as head rubs, hugs, shoulder pats, handshakes. Your actions do not draw attention to others. Page 24. Evaluation of learning style and knowledge absorption through VAK ratio. The VAK ratio will tell you the method of absorbing knowledge, also known as the style of receiving knowledge through your three senses. Reading with your eyes as shown by the V ratio stands for visual. Listening with your ear as a ratio stands for auditory, and learning by kinesthetic and tactile as the K ratio, which stands for kinesthetic. All three of these indicators are made up of your finger pairs, 2 pinkies, 2 ring fingers, and 2 middle fingers. The VAK ratio will allow you to clearly define your ability to receive knowledge with your three main senses, from which we will have the best learning method through the superior percentage between these three senses. As follows. Your visual method of receiving information is ranked third with a rate of 23.83%. Show that your ability to absorb knowledge with your eyes is assessed at below average. This means that the ability to receive information visually is not prioritized, so it is difficult for you to remember information if you have to see it with your eyes. Your auditory method of receiving information is ranked first with a rate of 40.91%. You can memorize knowledge through hearing at an extremely good level, and you have the ability to self-study many other languages. The best method that you use to receive knowledge is to listen to lectures. Listen to the radio-recorded lectures, or read aloud so that your ears can listen. Your kinesthetic and tactile method of receiving information is ranked second with a rate of 35.24%. Your ability to absorb knowledge through tactile movement is rated at a very good level. Make it a habit to write down the information you receive. Maybe shake your feet or touch something when you think. This is a method of using the movement mechanism when receiving knowledge, helping to reduce stress and help you feel comfortable. Note: when your auditory is greater than 36%, you may be caught up in the sounds from outside, so you should listen to music while studying or working to help eliminate outside noise. This will both increase concentration and reduce stress at work. Page number 29. Evaluation brain bias. Brain active or analytical? When a problem happens, will you be the one to see the opportunity and seize it immediately, or will you analyze the situation carefully to see if it is worth participating? We have two tendencies: dynamic mind and analytical mind. In a nutshell, the dynamic mind is the ability to see opportunities and goals, while the analytical mind is the ability to choose where opportunities or goals are. Both of these abilities exist simultaneously in each person. However, whichever is the more dominant percentage, the propensity to act is in favor of that possibility. You have a higher dynamic mind than an analytical mind, which is about 0.85%, within the allowable average of less than 5%. This is a very safe level. You tend to see opportunities clearly. Therefore, your important decisions making will always be analyzed and captured in a timely manner, both without losing opportunities and minimizing risks. You can do business or any suitable field according to the priority occupation table. With the advantage of a dynamic mind, you will easily seize opportunities while avoiding many risks. You can also ask a loved one for advice if you are unsure. Next, page 30 and 31. About your characteristics. You have super fast copying. Tend to be multi-targeted, but know your limitations. You have very good diplomacy and negotiation skills. Easy to win the sympathy of others. It is difficult to control the implementation of the goal, so you often come up with many options. Discipline is inconsistent, so it's easy to change your mind, even at the last minute. You are realistic. Work hard every day. Have a rich imagination. But you are also prone to delusions and tend to depression from thinking too much about a problem. You have the ability to analyze logic and argue in a unique way, and have a high ability to work under pressure for logic-related jobs. Page number 32. Evaluation of your innate talents, or your gifts. We only have 24 hours in a day, and we have to spend a lot of time on personal activities, so the time to practice our gifts will be limited and affect each other. For example, you are good at singing, but you often focus your time on studying subjects at school, so you have not practiced your talent, and will not realize that you can sing well. The general situation is that many times we ourselves do not realize our own gifts until the conditions or someone discovers and activates. The talents are using innate abilities. It shows the strengths and weaknesses of each person instinctively. Talents are only used for a short period of time during the day, or during the week. For example, you play the guitar regularly for about 1 to 2 hours a day. Even if not often, you only play about 1 to 2 times a week. So you can completely improve the skills that are not your forte by increasing the practice time, for example, from 2 to 4 hours a day. Remember that giftedness is just an innate ability. This is a statistical result from a combination of innate indicators in 10 individual functions of each person. The combination of these discrete and individual abilities is intended to bring about a specific, purposeful action that any of us can perform. That is, we all have the same gifts, but there will be people who are strong in one gift, and some who are strong in another. Many people mistakenly believe that gift will become an occupation in the future. This is not true. If the ability indicators combine to create a certain gift without the support of the coefficient absolute potential, abbreviated as CAP, then the gift will forever be just a gift. For example, you can sing karaoke very well, but it is only a group activity. You will not be able to shine on stage like professional singers, and you cannot stand on stage to sing for hours in front of a crowd of thousands of people. Or you can also play football and play sports very well, but you also can't run on the training ground for 8 hours per day like a professional athletes. That is the difference between gift and profession. However, innate talent can support a major you could pursue. For example, you have a professional tendency to perform on stage. That is, you can shine in front of a crowd or on stage. If your innate talent is acting, then surely your role playing will make an impression with the audience. You can act in theater or enter the film industry. Or if you have an innate talent for singing, then of course that will be your strength combined with a performing career so that you can become a professional singer. Your innate talents, or gifts, are analyzed based on innate capacity indicators, calculated on a score of 10, and divided into 2 tables. The table at the top is the arts, sports, fine arts talents, which are shown as follows. You have 8 of 14 innate talents at the level of good to excellent, 6 of 14 innate talents that is quite good but can still be used. Specifically as follows. Your first priority innate talent is language and words. You score 9.11, which is considered excellent. You should read many books to have a lot of knowledge when arguing with others. The second priority innate talent is singing. You score 8.72, which is considered good. You should try taking some vocal lessons. You will surely sing very well. The third priority innate talent is dancing. You score 8.67, which is considered good. If you learn dance sport, hip-hop or ballet, you will dance very well. Fourth priority innate talent is logical thinking. You score 8.65, which is considered good. You should read more logical stories. Play games such as chess. It will be very good for you. The fifth priority innate talent is acting. You score 8.63, which is considered good. You have a good acting ability. You can take a drama class or act. The sixth priority innate talent is playing drum, trumpet. You score 8.29, which is considered good. You can try to learn how to play the drums or the trumpet. You will surely play very well. The seventh priority innate talent is computer science, programming. You score 8.28, which is considered good. You can use computers fluently and learn programming languages very well. The eighth priority innate talent is foot sports. You score 8.23, which is considered good. You can play sports with your feet well, such as football, shuttlecock kicking. The ninth priority innate talent is coordinated sports. You score 7.98, which is considered quite good. You can still join mixed sports like martial arts, swimming, but it will take time to be good. The 10th priority innate talent is playing guitar, piano. You score 7.91, which is considered quite good. You can still learn guitar or piano, but it will take time to get good at it. The 11th priority innate talent is hand sports. You score 7.85, which is considered quite good. You can still play tennis, ping pong, badminton, but it will take time to play well. The 12th priority innate talent is fine art, painting. You score 7.80, which is considered quite good. You can still learn to draw, but it will take a long time for you to draw a good picture. The 13th priority innate talent is photography. You score 7.56, which is considered quite good. You can still learn about photography, but it will take time for this talent. The 14th priority innate talent is fine art, painting. You score 7.39, which is considered quite good. You can still learn to sculpt on wood or clay, but it will take time to create a nice work. The table below is the subject capacity, which are shown as follows. You have 7 subjects ranked good, and 1 subjects ranked quite good. Which are: the subject ranked first is physics. You score 8.86, which is considered good. The subject ranked second is math. You score 8.62, which is considered good. The subject ranked third is history. You score 8.56, which is considered good. The subject ranked fourth is literary. You score 8.41, which is considered good. The subject ranked fifth is chemistry. You score 8.28, which is considered good. The subject ranked sixth is foreign languages. You score 8.28, which is considered good. The subject ranked seventh is geography. You score 8.02, which is considered good. The subject ranked eighth is biology. You score 7.94, which is considered quite good. The score of your subjects are calculated based on your innate ability. The learning environment may be different from the nature of subject capacity. The main reason is that you have compensated for the time, by hard working, in which subject. The score of that subject may be higher. And finally, page number 33. Analyze and evaluate priority occupation groups according to the maximum allowed capacity. Different from gifts is only using the innate ability, and you can be overcome by increasing uptime to compensate for capacity limitations. Priority occupations will require full use of both innate and potential abilities, which will help to work persistently with 8 hours per day. Therefore, it is very important to choose the right occupation. In the priority occupations table, it shows that you have 7 of 26 occupations that are classified as good to excellent. You can choose to do the main job. And 5 of 26 occupations that are classified as quite good, but you can still use it as your main job if you have more support from your family. The rest are occupations at a lower level that will be difficult to use, or cannot be used as a main job. In which, the occupational group belonging to power includes business administration ranked first priority with a score of 9.30, which is considered excellent. You have very good qualities to be a manager or a boss. Senior management ranked third priority with a score of 8.74, which is considered good. You have good qualities to be a head of a group or organization. Politics ranked sixth priority with a score of 8.67, which is considered good. You have good political qualities. You will be a good representative for the collective interests. The supporting career group includes monitoring quality management ranked second priority with a score of 8.81, which is considered good. You have a good ability to cover and supervise the work. It will be difficult for others to cheat and embezzle from you, thereby avoiding loss in work. Researching, Sociology ranked 9th priority with a score of 7.85, which is considered quite good, but you can still do this occupation. If you have to research independently, it will be relatively hard for you. Psychology ranked 4th priority with a score of 8.72, which is considered good. You understand psychology and behave skillfully with people in a group or organization. You can also give psychological advice to others. Occupational groups of social activities include shows ranked 23rd priority with a score of 6.17, which is considered average. You do not have the ability to create visual effects of yourself on stage, or in public. Therefore, you should not choose occupations that stand in front of the crowd or the public. Professional sports ranked 26th priority with a score of 4.93, which is considered below average. You don't have good strength and endurance, you don't have flexibility. Therefore, you should not choose jobs that require a lot of activity, a lot of movement and high endurance. Occupation group of trained profession includes technical and engineering ranked 14th priority with a score of 7.02, which is considered quite good, but in the long run, it will be difficult for you to follow this job. Informatic technology ranked 12th priority with a score of 7.51, which is considered quite good, and you can still start your career with this job. Medics ranked 15th priority with a score of 6.94, which is considered quite good, but in the long run, it will be difficult for you to maintain this occupation. Finance. Auditing ranked 7th priority with a score of 8.15, which is considered good. You have the ability to do well in finance and auditing jobs. Accountant ranked 11th priority with a score of 7.61, which is considered quite good, and you can still start your career with this job. Hotel, restaurant and tourism ranked 21st priority with a score of 6.39, which is considered average. It is best that you should not choose this occupation. Ecology and environment ranked 16th priority with a score of 6.86, which is considered quite good, but in the long run, it will be difficult for you to maintain this occupation. Art, painting ranked 24th priority with a score of 5.06, which is considered average. It is best that you should not choose this job. Design, architecture ranked 22nd priority with a score of 6.28, which is considered average. It is best that you should not choose this job. Media ranked 8th priority with a score of 7.98, which is considered quite good. You can still start your career with this job. Although it's just a support, it will be difficult for you to succeed in this job. Linguistic ranked 10th priority with a score of 7.76, which is considered quite good, and you can still start your career with this occupation, but it will be difficult to succeed. Speakers. MC ranked 13th priority with a score of 7.19, which is considered quite good, but in the long run, it will be difficult for you to maintain this job. Education ranked 18th priority with a score of 6.78, which is considered quite good, but in the long run, it will be difficult for you to maintain this occupation. Investment and sale ranked 5th priority with a score of 8.71, which is considered good. You have good ability in business and investment. Manufacturing. Modulation ranked 19th priority with a score of 6.76, which is considered quite good, but in the long run, it will be difficult for you to maintain this occupation. Occupations that require special training include investigative and analysis ranked 20th priority with a score of 6.71, which is considered quite good, but in the long run, it will be a bit difficult for you to pursue this job. Recruiting personnel ranked 17th priority with a score of 6.86, which is considered quite good, but in the long run, it will be difficult for you to pursue this occupation because you will easily make mistakes. Handicrafts ranked 25th priority with a score of 4.98, which is considered below average. It is best that you should not choose this occupation. Conclusion. You have the qualities to be a boss, a manager, or a head of an organization, and you always ensure the benefits of the organization. When you are empowered, you can change the world around you. You have a good ability to cover and supervise the work. It will be difficult for others to cheat and embezzle from you, thereby avoiding loss in work. If you have to research independently, it will be relatively hard for you. You understand psychology and behave skillfully with people in a group or organization. You can also give psychological advice to others. In addition to the power and the supporting career, You should choose professions and areas of expertise in the highest priority order possible. The family's career advantage, if you have, should be considered. In addition, your DQ, determination quotient, has a score of 159.5 shows that once you decide to do something, you will get it done. Even if you start a business from zero, you will not hesitate and will definitely succeed. You should also note that there are 3 very important factors to help a person succeed, namely timing, environment, and personal capacities. Therefore, your fingerprint biometrics analysis report is a detailed map of your capacities. And the following conclusions are the content synthesized from the report biometric analysis of your fingerprints. Please read carefully, because this is a handbook to help you understand your own capacities, making it easy to use your strengths and potentials in the most effective way. After reading this conclusion, if you have any questions or need further advice, please contact the consultant directly at the hotline 0912-254-001 for answers. And it will be easier to understand if, after reading this conclusion, you review 3 parts of the video on how to read the analysis results that we posted on YouTube of Interhouse Research. Thank you very much for taking the time to consult.